Hi everyone, welcome back to Career 360. This is Vyakhya, and today we have someone really special with us. He has given CAT and CMAT. CMAT is a really popular MBA entrance exam. Colleges like JBIMS and Pumba and NIBM accept CMAT score. Today we have Anshul with us. He is currently pursuing his MBA from NIBM Pune. He is here to talk about his preparation journey with us. So welcome Anshul.
Hi, Vikya. Thanks for having me.
Okay, hi. Anshul, how are you doing? How is life at NIBM?
It's good. It's quite hectic, but then that's the part of MBA. The canvas is pretty much good. The crowd is good, and the exposure overall is absolutely tailor-made for a perfect business school.
Okay, that's great. So, Anshul, everyone who is watching this video, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your profile, and then why you decided to do MBA.
Oh, absolutely. So maybe we can start by my graduation. So I completed my graduation BBA in foreign trade. I was quite exclusive about my profile. I just wanted to explore a lot of areas, and eventually I came across the role of finance, and I did several projects related to finance. And to further cement my interest in that, I did a few couple of internships related to finance, and then I decided that okay, this is something that I really wanted to do in my corporate career. So I started searching for colleges which are quite reputed in finance and came across in IBM and finally converted my dream-based school through CMAT.
Okay, congratulations. So, could you tell us about what all exam did you give for your preparation?
Absolutely. Sure. So I gave CAT. Apart from this, I also gave SRCC and then CMAT as well.
Okay. So, what was the difference in patterns that you observed in these three exams?
Okay, so starting from CAT, CAT is an exam where your accuracy depends a lot. It's a game changer. It actually depends on which question you are attempting and how much time you are engaging in it. Talking about CMAT, so CMAT is a game where time is ample, but then you have to make sure that whatever question you are attempting, it just goes well with it. And talking about SRCC, so it's somewhere just between CAT and CMAT. You are given comparatively less time compared to CAT, but then the number of questions which you can attempt are more than both the exams, CAD and CMAT.
Okay. Also, so how did you customize your preparation for these three different exams?
All the three exams require a bit different mindset, though foundation is quite pretty much same. Talking about CAT, I have a very shaky foundation of Quant. So I started by first of all cementing my foundation of Quant. I started with the books of NCRT, and I really prescribe to anyone who is finding it difficulty to go for Quant. Two, you can maybe start with the NCRT books; they are pretty much well. Along with that, I also started reading a couple of novels, which really helped me in my foundation related to reading comprehension. Apart from this, first of all, before joining any of the institute, I found whatever resources were there on the online, and I just started collecting the resources related to DLR. And first of all, I tried to solve it by myself. That what kind of approach that I am following, what are the things that I am doing correctly, what are the things that I needed to work upon it, and this is how I started with my CAT. And just before formally starting my CAT preparation, I also gave a past year paper, which actually, just made me realize where I'm actually standing.
Okay. Also, so you talked about how you were facing challenges in quants. So then how did you prepared a strategy for quant and what were the books that you were using?
As I just mentioned, NCRT book would be a great fit for whoever is just starting his preparation. Apart from this, one has to just, there are several things we need to memorize, like the tables or the shortcut tricks. So just take care of that, and then you can eventually move on to books like Arun Sharma or whatever author you are comfortable with. start from LOD1 and eventually, as you go along, start increasing your level of difficulty. Otherwise, you will eventually burn out as you go along.
Okay. Okay. So, what were your scores in these three exams? You gave CAT, CMAT, and SRCC GBO. So, what were your individual scores in these exams?
Sure. So for CAT, it was 54 percentile. For SRCC, it was 198 marks. I just missed the cutoff by 2 marks. And for CMAT, it was 99.43 percentile.
Okay. So, you scored 54 percentile in CAT and then you scored a 99 percentile above in CMAT. So, what is the story behind this rise? How did you prepare yourself for coming back?
I frankly believe that no exam is meant for everyone. Everyone has its own strong area. For me, I'm more inclined towards CMAT as I'm more comfortable with GK, with entrepreneurship, and maybe with reasoning. So that actually became a natural fit for myself. Whereas I was kind of struggling with scoring, talking about that. And for SRCC, I did pretty well. Maybe they just changed the pattern. So that was a shock for everyone. And again, the seats are quite limited in SRCC. So you really have to do phenomenal if you really wanted to get a call from SRCC GPU.
Okay. So, when you were preparing for this exam, what were some of the college that were on your list?
So whenever you hear about finance, Calcutta is the first choice for any of the candidates. So was I am. I was quite reluctant to join Calcutta, but unfortunately, that didn't turn out to be true. Apart from this, I was mainly targeting NIBM. I really wanted to join an institute which holds a reputation in the market. So, in fact, one of the prime reasons for me to go for CMAT is just because I wanted to get into IBM.
So you were really keen in joining NIBM. What is it so special about NIBM that you were so interested in joining in it?
Whenever you just mention about NIBM, we also kind of passively mention about RBI. So NIBM is a college which is set up and backed by RBI and other leading banks. It has its own reputation in the market. The faculty is quite experienced. A lot of our professors have actually worked with RBI in the past and with several other reputed institutes. The curriculum here is so rigorous, and there are a lot of opportunities provided on the campus for the overall exposure.
So you are currently pursuing PGDM in banking and finance in NIBM. So tell us a little bit about your course. What are some of the future career prospects and what are the subjects that you guys study?
All right. So let me start with first semester. So in the first semester, all the basic course related to marketing, HR, a bit about technology is being taught just to comfort every candidate who is coming from diversified background. Then eventually, as we head towards the next semester, it starts getting more finance oriented.
So let's get back to your preparation days. Let's talk about CMAT a little bit. So when did you started
Sure.
preparing for CMAT?
So it was right after my SRCC. I was sure that again I have to prepare for CMAT as I wanted to get in an IBM. So immediately I started my preparation the very next day when probably the result of SRCC came. So I started my preparation by giving a mock test. Uh, it actually helped me to understand what is actually the design of the CMAT entrance exam and what are the things that CMAT is expecting from me in order to crack the exam. I eventually discovered that the game is a lot about accuracy and not about time. Uh, it's frankly speaking, there is a lot of time for an aspirant to attempt all questions. But then in the end, it all boils down to how many questions he or she is actually able to get correct. As I go along with my preparation, I'd also like to mention about certain features of CMAT. First of all, anyone who is not quite good with Quant, CMAT can be an exam which he or she might look for, as it is quite light on Quant again. And if you are quite aware of what's going on uh, in the um in economy in the general in the world in general, so the current affairs part of the for CMAT would really work for you.
Okay. So a person who does not know anything about CMAT, could you just tell us what is the exam pattern of CMAT? What are the different sections that come in the exam?
Sure. So it's an exam which is having 100 questions. There are five sections: quant, then we have LR, language comprehension, general awareness, and finally entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship for most of the candidate is quite new as it is uncommon and it is for like most of the entrance exam this part is usually missing. So if a person who has already prepared for any of the entrance exam in the past, entrepreneurship is something they have to eventually prepare for from the scratch.
Okay. So since there are so many different sections in CMAT, what was your strategy and how did you prepare for each section in CMAT?
All right, so I'll tell you, I followed a strategy called as 1990. I
Okay.
just quickly skimmed through my paper and I found that the level of difficulty is somewhere between easy to moderate, and it all boils down to how many questions I'm actually able to get correct. So I decided that I'll follow the strategy, which is 1990. So basically, what happens in this strategy is attempt at least 90 questions with the accuracy of 90
Okay.
to get a comfortable score. And if you really wanted to get a good college through CMAT, then at least plan for scoring above 95 or even 98 percentile.
Okay. So what are some of the advice that you would like to give to people who would be appearing for CMAT this year?
Okay, so it's not a game of time. If you are someone who takes time in solving the question, in thinking about it, it's absolutely fine. You just have to be patient and trust the process. Initially, a lot of things might go against you. You might find it quite burning. So what really happens is there is a flow of exams. It starts with NMAT, then we have CAT, then SNAP, then ZAD, SRCG, and there are a few exams in between. So while an aspirants come to the very end of the tail, he or she generally feels burnout. Stay calm, trust the process, and trust yourself that you can do it pretty well and work upon it.
Yes, true. So usually students get demotivated when they score low in any of these exams. So what is a piece of advice that you want to give to these students who probably haven't scored that well in these other exams like CAT or ZAT, but they want to pursue some other exams like CMAT?
Internet is filled with hundreds and hundreds of stories of people who weren't good in one particular exam, but then they eventually ended up in top 10 or top 5 of a particular exams. So it's you who can eventually decide which exam would work for you. And if you are really certain that this exam you can like score good and just start preparing for it, have an bird eye of the entire thing, what goes in it, what kind of things might work for you. You can maybe talk with the people who have actually aced these exams, what things have has worked for them. Pick some of the things which can work for you. Experiment in your initial days, and then you can later on decide that what you really wanted, how you actually wanted to go with that particular exam in the later part.
Okay. Okay. So, when you were preparing for CMAT, what were some of the books and resources that you were using for the preparation?
Okay, so a lot of my CMAT preparation was already taken care of while I was preparing for CAT and for GBO. So I hadn't paid too much emphasis on my preparation. I just make sure whatever I'm doing, I'll do it correctly and with right mindset. For someone who is starting his preparation from scratch, maybe I would say that just start by giving a mock and analyze it. What is going, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, on what things you can actually improve, and figure out them. Prepare a broad map. Maybe invest a week or couple of weeks in tailoring your strategy and go step by step. For example, if you have a problem with a certain set of section, so just see that what are the topics which you are not comfortable with, how you can actually use it. Are there any kind of tricks you can carry along uh, to just remove those uncertainty in your answers and go step by step with the process.
Okay. So, Anshul, a person who wants to study at NIBM, what is the admission process for that student who wants to get into the college post CMAT?
First of all, there would be the shortlisting of the eligible candidates based on your entrance exams. Uh, CMAT actually, NIBM actually accepts five exams: CAT, CMAT, ZAT, uh, GMAT, and GRE. So if you have given any of the exams, you can apply to an IBM. If you are eligible based on your profile, based on your academics, based on your work ex, you will be given the interview call, and later you will be having your OCI. OCI is nothing but you will be given a random topic and you'll have to speak on it for a couple of minutes
Okay.
and then followed by your PI.
Okay. So, what was your topic for extempo, your OCI topic?
Okay, so Russia-Ukraine war was quite in the news at that time,
Okay.
and my topic was that if one day Russia decides to ban the export of oil, or it could just create a trade disruption, how would India deal with it? And since I was already having a background in foreign trade, that part becomes quite easy for me as I know a lot about how the trade works and how the international countries just bypass the things to work in favor of them.
Okay. And what was your PI experience at NIBM?
It was pretty much smooth, as I already thought. It revolved more around banking, why I really wanted to switch from foreign trade to finance. Why not join? Why like I'm a fresher, so they just asked me that why not go for a work ex? Why really wanted to join immediately after your college, and followed by several questions related to my background. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay. And what were some of the most interesting moments of the PI that you probably remember right now and want to share with students?
Okay, so when I was giving my introduction, uh, one of the panelists just interrupted me and said, "Okay, so you have a background in foreign trade. That sounds interesting. So tell me, if you are being made the foreign trade minister for one day, what would be your course of action for this?" I mean, that was the question which was completely bouncer for me. I didn't prepare for it. But then that's all what the panelist really checks how good you are with your critical thinking.
Okay. So what was the answer that you gave to this question?
Uh, That's an approach since he already mentioned that you will be given this position for a day. So the policy would be short term in nature. I just said that I would focus more on release for the people. I would ensure that the treaties which were being executed in the past is actually coming into implementation. And if by any bilateral talks, we can find the way to what uh, save the disruption in the trade process.
Okay. So you mentioned how the interviewer at NIBM asked you why you are pursuing MBA post your college and not taking a working professional experience. So what do you think is better? Is MBA better as a working professional post experiencing a little bit working experience, or just out of your graduation or out of your college?
Short answer to this question is it depends.
Okay.
I mean, I was quite certain after, like, once I entered in my undergraduation, that I really wanted to join a business school right after I end up with my graduation, and I was quite certain related to which area I really wanted to work in and what college should I target. So since I was quite clear, and in the past I did work with I did few internships and few projects and got a flavor of how the corporate actually works. And then found that this would be a right moment for me to enter into the B school. And subsequently, in the next 2 years, I'll land into the corporate world for a better exposure.
Okay. 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 You want to add something to it?
No, no, like I was just saying that for someone who's not sure whether he or she really wanted to go for an MBA, then I would recommend that probably work for a year or couple of years and just get a flavor of how actually the things really work in corporate. And then maybe you can subsequently decide that you really wanted to get into MBA or not, or in which department or in which specialization you wanted to get into.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about NIBM a little bit. Tell us more about your life at NIBM. What are some of the extracurricular activities that you guys do? What are some of the opportunities that the college provide?
Okay, so once you get into the campus, life would be quite hectic. Life would be quite exciting, and you will start feeling every moment of it. You will actually get a taste of how to work under pressure, how to work with the team, how to put forward your views, and how to nurture yourself, how to groom yourself in all the chaos that's happening around you. As you go forward, there would be a lot of exciting opportunities, a lot of case study competitions over here are being arranged for students. And apart from this, several clubs are there in the institute. You can just pick whatever clubs which excites you. We have clubs related to investing, we have clubs related to economics, we have clubs related to consulting. And again, it just doesn't restrict till academics. There are a lot of opportunities non-academics as well. Uh, you can be in part of any of the committee of your choice, and there are a lot of works which you can get into involved into arranging several events, pitching the pitching the sponsors for sponsorship in the events, and this is how you can actually develop your communication skills.
Okay. So were you part of any of these clubs? Are you like participating in any of these societal activities?
Yeah, right. So currently, I am associated with Alumni Relations Committee, and apart from this, I am part of all the three clubs at my institute. It's related to investing and economics, and then eventually to consulting as well.
So, Anshul, let's talk about CMAT a little bit more. What was your preparation strategy for each section? You talked about quant. What about the other sections?
Okay, so coming to LRDI, uh, There are a sample of resources available on the internet. You can pick up any of the sets, area-wise area related to pie chart, related to bar graph, and any of the mixed graph which you are okay with, and just practice upon it. Again, there are a few books like Arihan publication book is quite good with it. So maybe you can refer to the Arihan publications one for the DI part. Coming to reasoning. Reasoning is primarily divided into two parts, verbal and non-verbal. There are ample of books. Competitive books primarily related to reasoning. So you can just pick up any of them which you are okay with and prepare the basic as well as a bit moderate sets of those topics. Now moving on, there are a lot of questions related to analogy in reasoning. So maybe for those questions, you needed to work a little bit upon your English comprehension part. Maybe an aspirant might get confused while looking at those analogy questions. So side by side, refer to any of the word which you find new. Just quickly Google those words and make sure that you remember throughout. And I just wanted to emphasize a bit upon how the LR actually works. So there would be a lot of questions in which they might ask you whether statement one is correct, whether statement two is correct. So for such questions, you can use a strategy of elimination. So let's say that I'm certain that statement two is absolutely incorrect. So I'll eliminate all the options which is in statement two, and I'll just restrict myself to those options which I'm very much sure that okay, this could be the potential answer that I'm looking for, and this way it will sharply increase your accuracy level and probably gives you a better confidence.
Okay.
Uh, okay, and just remember there are ample of videos available on the internet. A lot of tricks are there related to questions, related to seating arrangements, related to series, verbal, alphabetical, any of the series. Just go through it, and you can prepare side by side. You can just prepare a book, uh, a separate book for those tricks, and you can just note and you can apply that whether it's actually working for you or not.
Okay. Did you prepare any formula book for quants as well?
Right. So I just refer to a book of graph to formula book
Okay.
that do the job pretty well, and
Okay.
it has almost all the formulas which are being required for to an aspirant. So maybe you can refer to those books, or you can just prepare your own formula book.
Okay. And what about the other sections?
Sure. So let's move on to language comprehension. So for the person who's not too comfortable with English, you can start by building your base for English. There are again several of the resources available out there. One particular book that I can refer to is Brush Up Your English by H.T. Imam. H.T. Imam. It's pretty decent book.
Okay.
You can just see what's going on in the entire uh, book. Make take a note of it, and I would also recommend maybe try reading novels which doesn't contain too much jargon, but yet it will just better appetite for language comprehension. And maybe if you are probably on a bit better position, you can maybe start by listening more of an English commentary or maybe English movies.
Okay.
That would be quite vital for you. Apart from this, and just read newspaper. It works phenomenally well. Newspaper actually helps you in a lot of your things. It will help you in interviews. It will help you in your GK part. It will help you in your entrepreneurship part, as well as it will directly impact your language comprehension part as well. So please don't skip this part if you are not comfortable with language.
Okay.
Sure.
Also,
And
yes,
yeah,
moving on to the GK part, I think.
right. So moving on to the GK part. So GK is again categorized into two parts. We have static and then we are having current affairs. For static, Uh, actually, she might love particular topics too much. Like you might get questions related to titles, recognitions, dance forms, national parks. So just browse through those parts, get a gist of what all topics were repetitive in nature in the last 5 years, prepare them well, and take a note of all the things which you find really important. Apart from this, you may refer to as docent, but then that's quite subjective. It might work for you, it might not work for you. Frankly speaking, it never worked for me.
Okay.
So I just skimmed through the books once and found and marked those areas which I thought would be the matter of importance for me. Okay, and then moving on to the current affairs, as I mentioned earlier, read newspapers. If you are even scrolling on Instagram, just make sure you can follow you should follow the pages which gives daily updates about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the economy, what's going around you. Get an idea of those things and see if that's working for you. So when I just started my preparation for this particular section of current affairs, I used to underline the important headlines from the newspaper and then take a note of it in my preparation book. And once and like after every couple of weeks, I just revise all the headlines of what's going on. So this way you can rapidly work upon your current affairs file apart. And there are a lot of things in the current affairs which are interrelated to each other. Let's say currently there is a lot of discussions in the economy related to electoral election bonds. So maybe you can just get an idea of what election bonds are, what all are the institutes which are engaged in it, how SBI is related to it, what's the Supreme Court judgment on it. So a lot of things would be interrelated to such topics. So it will just groom up your JK Wala part more appropriately.
Okay. Okay. And then the part which is entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship section is, I think, quite new for everyone. So, how did you prepare for it and what were the resources that you used?
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I am a BBA student, and one of my subjects in my undergraduation was related to entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So I was having a few resources related to entrepreneurship. I just referred to them. Um, Again, you can refer to any of the good books which you find okay. Uh, there is entrepreneurship part is quite basic in nature. You just have to read what are the types of entrepreneurs, the study of each cases, uh, then the disruptions which have been there in the market, and then just don't forget about this dynamic part of entrepreneurship. Maybe you can prepare the part of dynamic part of entrepreneurship by watching more of business oriented news. I would frankly advise if you are not watching Shark Tank India yet, maybe you can try watching such um, uh, such shows. It will actually help you with a lot of your preparations related to entrepreneurship, and you will get a good hang of it.
Okay. All right. So, you talked about how you started giving mocks on the day one of your CMAT preparation. Talk, Tell us about your mock process and what was your mock analysis process when you were preparing for CMAT and CAT.
Okay, so uh, don't judge yourself on the basis of first mock. Don't just make yourself demotivated. Be consistent with your preparation. When you just give your first mock, ensure that it's actually from the motive of learning and not from the motive of testing yourself that how well you are. Every, I mean, couple of mocks are actually given with the mindset to actually realize on which part you are good with and on which part you need to work upon. Now, for me, that turned out to be uh, my strong area was reasoning and as well as GK and entrepreneurship. So I decided that I'll pay a little bit less attention to these areas and a bit more towards quant.
Okay.
I developed certain tracks by my own as you like just practice a lot of different diversity of questions. You start getting a gist of what actually the question is demanding, and then eventually you just in the process you just discover your own shortcut tricks. So maybe that would be a good part for you to begin with. Apart from this, I also followed a strategy. So I was quite sure. In question in the sections like entrepreneurship and the GK, it's either you know the answer or you don't know the answer. There is no if and but in between. So I just ensured that I quickly go through this area. I gave myself a particular time limit that let's say I'll have to complete 20 questions of GK in next 10 minutes and I have to complete 20 questions of entrepreneurship in let's say next 15 minutes. So in the 25 minutes, I am already done with 40 questions. Now I have the liberty of um, giving more time to the section which I'm not very comfortable with, in the sections which are a bit time consuming, and in the sections which have a more tricky questions for there. So this way you won't feel the time pressure with yourself and it will help you cool down. You'll just have to realize that you still have the time, and maybe you can follow the strategy of just skimming through the questions and just uh, get into your mind which question really you know the answer, and a bit tricky questions which are there you can always come back to that later.
Okay, so when you were giving these mocks, did you develop any particular attempt strategy for CMAT?
Yeah, so like I just mentioned about it, I just ensured that I'll attempt those questions which I'm really sure of in the first round. In the second round, I'll approach the questions which are a bit time consuming, but then I know that if I'll invest my couple of minutes, I'll eventually make those questions. And in the third round, if I really wanted to go for a certain questions, I just use the rule of elimination that if certain option is quite irrelevant, I'll just eliminate it. And amongst the options, I'll just weigh which option would be a better fit for my answer, and I'll just mark on that particular answer and move ahead.
Okay, so how many hours did you devote to CMAT preparations on a daily basis?
So for me, it wasn't much. My main time actually went in last 1 week. I started my preparation full fledgedly in the last 1 week, but then before that, I was giving couple of hours every day just to remain myself, just to keep myself disciplined with my schedule, with my concepts, and with my thought process as well.
Okay, so people who are aspiring to give CMAT this year, what is it that they should do right now? What is the preparation plan that they should follow at this point of time?
Maybe you can start by giving a mock and just see how you are performing in that. Apart from this, CMAT is still a bit far. So you just have to realize that you still have time. You hadn't missed the train yet. You can anyway start the preparation at this moment as well. And maybe you can just start by solving questions which require tricks, remembering the tricks, remembering the shortcuts, and then eventually work upon the application of those tricks in order to optimize your overall time taking in a particular topic.
Okay. So, Anshul, your journey is really inspiring to many students. So, how would you describe your journey so far, right from preparation to now studying at NIBM?
It's been a roller coaster journey so far. There were a lot of instances when my marks weren't really that good. Again, it's a journey where you have to be disciplined, where the peace of mind is really important, and where you just have to show the trust in yourself that you can actually do whatever it takes uh, to ace your exam. And if you are having any of the blissful in your mind, just focus on it, get inspired by it, idealize it, and get motivated whenever you are feeling low.
Okay. All right. So Anshul, this was a really great session. I'm sure a lot of students will find lot of help from the insights that you share. Thank you so much for joining us today, and Career 360 would love to have you again. Thank you so much for giving your time.
Thank you so much. It was indeed amazing session with you.